In this video, I'll show you how you can present your participant with their average reaction time for all their correct responses at the end of the experiment. Here you can see I've presented a time in milliseconds, and I've also rounded it to 2 decimal places because I think it looks a bit nicer. In this particular example, I'm going to be using an adapted version of the stock Stroop experiment, which you can download directly from Labjs, and it's built in. I'm also using code which was adapted from the Slack channel, which I highly recommend you join, and it was code that was generated by Felix, who is the creator of lab.js, and I'll put his full name in the lower third so he gets the credit he duly deserves. All the code I use in this video can be found in the Git book, along with the experiment that I'm now showing you. Okay, so as you can see, you'll end up with a final screen which has the average reaction time on. So let's go and look at the code. So you can see for a start, the screen that shows them, gives them their reaction time is here, and it's just using state.mean.rt and then ms, and then also the rounded mean as well. Okay, and if you want to know how I've done this, I've added a screen which only lasts for around about 100 milliseconds, so not long at all, and I've put in a bit of script that uses the data.extract function, which is available to use in lab.js. In this particular example, you can see that I've extracted a column which is called duration, which is where all the reaction times are held, but I've only extracted it for the screen which is called stimulus. So you can see that we've got a screen here which is called stimulus, and this is where the actual participants respond, and it will be judged whether they've responded correctly or incorrectly. You can also see that I've specified that I only want true responses, and I only want it to be in the task condition. So the lab.js is a bit unusual in this respect because it's set up a practice condition as well. So I've told lab.js that I only want it to average the times which are in the task condition, and I'm not bothered about the ones where they were practicing. Okay. It's worth saying that if you wanted all the different conditions, or if you wanted the reaction time for true and incorrect answers as well, all you would need to do is just go and delete this, and then it would work just the same. If you're using this code in a different experiment, it's important to make sure that you've got these columns that appear like so, and you've also got it spelled correctly, because if you don't, then it will just show up as blank because it won't be able to do it. Next, you can see that I've told it to use all of the responses, but if you wanted to, you can use the following code, which will limit it to the last 5 responses. So let's say that you were giving feedback after each block, and they were in a block of 5 responses. You can just go and use this code to specify that. Equally, if you wanted 10 responses, you would just go and change this number to 10. Okay. Then once you've done that, we want to use a kind of a utility in lab.js that will average all the reaction times, and then we want to save the reaction times into a variable called mean.rt. And if you look on screen now, you'll see the top value being shown, and this is a screenshot from earlier on in the video of all the decimal points, which I think looks a bit messy. So I've used this function here, which is called round, to round to 2 decimal places. If I was to change that to 3, obviously, then that would change it to 3 decimal places. Okay, and I just think that looks a bit neater. The only slight downside of this is that I think it converts it to a string value. So if you then want to do further manipulation of this number, you need to go back onto it and tell it using something like this dot number to tell it that this string should be a number rather than a string value. The other thing to point out is that when you're presenting the participant with their final score, you need to set the screen as tardy. So hopefully this video has been useful, and if it has, please like it.